time to start prepping for spring. It's February already. We have to build some planters. We got to build some patio furniture. We need some bird houses and bird feeders. We need some squirrel feeders. Oh my God, we got a lot to do. Let's get after it. All right, guys, I'm Tim. This is New Craft Workshop, and if you're new to the channel, before we even get started, there's one thing you have to do, and we all have to do it, because if we don't all do it, it's not going to work. You got to go down there and click that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and when the video's over, you have to click the comment. Super easy, but we all have to work together here. So if you're new to my channel, this is what we do. We do some DIY friendly projects that I show you on camera in the format of a beginner's style, but I always give you the blueprint to make it elevated, and we do what we like to call here, make it your own, which is you take my plans, my design, my inspiration, and you make it your own. Pretty self-explanatory. We always start right here with a cut list, and then we follow that up with a tool list. By the end of this video, you're going to have everything you need as far as knowledge on what you need to cut, what material we're using, what tools you're going to need out in your shop. All you have to do is follow this video's instructions, cut everything, glue it, brad it, screw it, assemble it. You've got a really cool project. Today, we're making this bird feeder. Now, we enjoy watching the birds out in our backyard, so we're going to build this, and we're going to use some standard material from the big box stores. We're going to be using some 1x10s, some 1x2s, some 1x6s, I believe. But we're going to head over here to the workbench and get after this cut list. So, first things first, cut list. First thing we're going to need is going to be our base. Now, our base is going to be made from a 1x10, and we're going to cut that 11 inches long. Next, we're going to trim this out. Now, this is going to be made from some 1x2s, but I'm not going to give you the dimensions on this, and here's why. Take your front and back, put your pencil marks, cut those where you need them, and then place your sides on, and we're going to add 3 inches to that. We want about 1.5 inch overhang. 1x10s vary in size a little bit across the country. Sometimes I pick them up, they're 9.5, sometimes they're 9 3/4, sometimes they're 9 3/8. So this is the easiest way to lay this out. Next, we're going to need the sides of our bird feeder. These are made from 1x6 material, and these are cut to 8.5 inches long. And as you can see right here, we've cut a 45-degree angle on either side to give these a peak. This is going to form the side of our bird feeder where the roof is going to go. Finally, we're going to need our roof. This is also made from 2 pieces of 1x6. I have cut these to 13 inches long. I do want a little bit of an overhang on either side. And if you are picky and you want your roof completely symmetrical on either side when you create this butt joint, simply rip 3/4 inch off of one of these pieces. That way when you create your butt joint, both sides of your roof are exactly 5.5 inches in width. Oh, dowels. We're going to need 2 dowels. Another thing I'm not going to give you dimensions on, but I'm using 1/2 inch dowels. We're going to just lay this out. Once our bottom piece is made, we'll kind of get a length that we need our dowels. Then we're going to cut them a little bit long so that they'll seat into the holes we drill, and that's going to hold those in place, give the birds a place to sit while they're eating all their little snacks. So that's it for your cut list. Boom. Tool list. Tool list, saw. Of course, we're going to need a saw to cut everything to length. Miter saw preferably, because we are going to be making some 45-degree angles. And if you want to rip your material down for your roof so it's symmetrical on both sides, you'll need your table saw, completely optional. You're going to need a Forstner bit to match the diameter of your particular dowel. If you're not using a 1/2 inch, then of course you're not going to need a 1/2 inch Forstner because, well, duh, they just need to match. You're going to need a brad nailer. You're going to need some wood glue and possibly some clamps to hold everything together. And I am going to put my roof on with a magnet. I'll show you how I install that towards the end. And I am going to slip in something I forgot to tell you about in the very beginning is we're going to use this little acrylic piece on either side of our feeder. So I'm going to rip a little notch with my table saw for this to slide down into, but again, I'll show you an alternative method to get the sides put on that are going to be clear, where we're going to be able to see how low our seed is getting. Tool list, cut list, let's build. All right, let's get this thing assembled. So I'm going to just kind of dry fit the base and show you what we're going to do here. So the way this frame rests around here, we've left ourselves an 1.5 inch overhang on either end for our dowel rods to get inserted. This is where the birds are going to roost while they're eating away and snacking. So we need to drill some holes on either end of this board and either end of this board. And I'm just going to come in 3/4 inch from either end right here. Pop me a mark 3/4 inch in, and just make sure you're doing this on the same side. All right, so if you're using 1x2s from the big box stores, yours are going to be 1.5 inches tall, wide this way. I ripped my own. Mine actually wound up being 1.25 inches. I'm going to find my center of that, which is going to be quickly 1.25 inches. Half of that, that's right, if you said 5/8. So that's my center mark. Let me mark these 4 boards out, and then we'll drill some holes. All right, next step is going to be to drill our holes, and again, we're using a 1/2 inch diameter Forstner bit to match our dowel, and I want to make sure that my 4 holes are the same depth, and I'm just going to use the thickness of the Forstner bit. Once this part gets to the top of my wood, then I'm going to stop with my hole. All right, it's now time to get our base assembled. And for this, I'm going to just glue and then brad this in place. I am using Titebond 3. If you're not familiar with the different types of Titebond and what their applications are, I'll pop up right here a little thing for you guys that's going to show you why I'm using 3. Basically, 3 is going to be much more water resistant than 2. And the setup times are a little different as well, but I mainly use 3 for outdoor applications. Setup time is never really an issue. I usually get my stuff put together fairly quickly. So let's line up our ends right here, get some brads in here. And for our side pieces, I did tell you that we marked this out to where this is 3 inches longer, but if you're new to the channel, then you're gonna learn something about me today. Most of the time on projects like this that are kind of rough and rustic, and especially outdoor projects, I usually tend not to measure this stuff out. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it, tack it in place. And before we put on our other side, this is when we're going to drop a little bit of glue on the end of our dowel and get that in there. All right, so at this point, this is what we have. We've basically got our base with our 2 perches, and we are ready to start assembly on our top. Now, I am going to do something that you might or might not be able to do in your shop, and that is I'm going to cut a groove in each one of these pieces right here. I want a groove so that my acrylic can slide down in there, and then I'm going to pop a little CA glue in and hold it up a little bit so that the seed can fall out. If you do not have the ability to rip a groove in these boards, all you have to do is surface mount your acrylic, pre-drill a couple holes, and pop a couple little screws in here to hold this in place, and it will hold just fine. I'm just going to use my table saw because I have one. So I'm going to run over there. I'm not going to bore you with the cut. I'm going to cut a couple grooves in here. I'll be right back. All right, quick and easy. So this is basically what I've done. I've just cut a couple grooves in here. This is going to accept my acrylic and hold it in place, and we can now get this assembly started. So I am going to take my two side components and I am going to eyeball them. Who would have guessed? That's exactly right. Now the only thing here that's important is making sure that our distance is the same on both sides so that we don't have, we don't want our boards like this. Yes, that's an over exaggeration, but let's just make sure they're centered as good as we can get them. I'm going to pop a little glue on the bottom as well as on this side. And then I'm going to tack this in place. And again, I am just doing my absolute best to center this by eye. It's going to be totally fine, I promise. So this is where we're at so far. Next, before we do anything else, I want to get my roof assembled. And this is just a simple butt joint. And again, I want to show you like I did at the beginning. I wanted my two sides symmetrical. So I took this particular board and I ripped 3/4 of an inch off. That made both of my sides the exact same width. So let's get this tacked together as well. Our roof is done, and as you can see, this is just going to rest on here like this. This is the basics of our feeder. I have designed this particular bird feeder. If you are cutting these grooves right here in the sides of your side pieces, I have designed this bird feeder to take the acrylic exactly as it is on the width side, but as you can see, the length is a little tall. We also want right here, we want about a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch gap from the bottom so that the seed can kind of work its way out. So I'm going to just put a mark right here on this, and then that's my length to cut this. And cutting this acrylic, this is super thin. It's nothing heavy. If you have some heavier stuff, feel free to use it. But we're just going to score this with a razor slash box cutter, X-Acto, whatever you happen to have. Just score it, snap it, and it pops off. Let me get this cut, and then we will get this assembled. I'll show you how I tack mine in place. All right, so we have our acrylic cut, and we're just going to peel off the two sides here. And basically all I do is I just drop this down in there, and I pop me some CA glue in this little channel right here, and I just kind of hold it in place for a second or two. I know about activator, so don't comment down below why didn't you spray it. Because this acrylic, when you spray the activator, it kind of leaves a fog and a haze on there. So I don't put this on with activator. I mean, come on, you can hold this in place for 30 seconds, if that long. It's probably more like 15, but I'm gonna get these glued in place, and then I'll show you how I'm gonna install the magnets to get our roof put on so that we can easily get in and out of this thing for our feed. So we're almost done already. All right, it's time to get these magnets installed, and this is what's going to hold the roof in place. So I'm just going to pop my roof on, kind of center it the best that we can, and then I'm going to come up underneath here, and I'm going to make a mark, and I'm going to make one pencil mark here on my side, and then one right here to let me know where the edge of my board is. And then we're just going to take our Forstner bit. All right, and now we're just going to pop a little drop of CA glue in here. And if you don't have CA glue, get some, because you're going to want it. We're going to pop our magnet down in there, hit it with a little bit of our activator. That's not going anywhere. And then we'll just follow that same process here. But when you go to pop this magnet in here, you need to make sure that your polarity of your magnet is correct. So I'm just going to make sure that I am putting the negative side to the negative side so that when we put this together, it actually sticks instead of tries to repel. All right, our magnet is installed, and our magnet is installed in our top. We are just going to set this in place Boom, it just kind of clicks into place. We're held tight with our magnet. There's our little bird feeder. This is going to come in super handy in our yard. We like to sit out back. We have some hummingbird feeders that we like to watch the hummingbirds, but this is going to bring in some other birds. But this thing right here, super easy project. Built this thing in about, once I had my material cut, the assembly process in real time, trying to film it for you guys was like 30 minutes max. You can build this extremely quick, and by using the acrylic on the side, we have allowed ourselves the ability to see when we're getting low on our food. I'll pop a link down below in the description to the magnets I used as well as the acrylic. Last thing on this particular build, because this is going outside and this is pine, we need to protect this. I'm gonna spray this thing down with at least 2 coats of polyurethane, or what I'm gonna do, we're gonna wipe this down with some Thompson's water seal. Personally, I prefer the water seal. It's easier to put on, and we can take this thing once a year and refresh the seal on this. But this is a great little project. This is DIY friendly, and I can think of a million ways you can dress this up and make it your own. Please do not forget, like this video. It's not this one. It's where the thumb points up. That's the one you need to be clicking. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We pump out 3 or 4 of these types of videos a month, as well as some savings and some other stuff that we do for you guys to help you out in your shop. And then most importantly, take the time down below to leave us a comment. Nothing helps the algorithm more. If you're on a mobile device, there's also a button after you click the thumbs up that'll pop up that'll say hype the video. That is extremely important to helping Newcraft reach more people. So if that pops up on your mobile device, tablet, phone, whatever, please click that hype button. It truly does make a difference. Last thing, when you make your version of this, because I know you're going to, then you're going to go right here. This is our Facebook group. Link will be down below. Join our Facebook group if you haven't already. Show us your version of this project or any of the projects we've made. Ask questions, answer questions, give tips, learn, do it all. All of the Facebook group people have been extremely helpful to each other, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Last but not least, down in the description is some of my links to the products we use today, as well as my Amazon storefront. It's our way of asking you to help us out without actually helping us out. So that's all I got for you. Cool little birdhouse. It's springtime. Let's get out here and start building some springtime projects. As always, thanks for spending a little bit of time with me here at Newcraft Workshop, and I'll catch you guys on YouTube.